All right, I think we're in there. It's live now. All right, all right. Welcome, brothers and sisters, family and friends, loved ones from all over the planet. I am Brother H.A. Jabbar, also known as Brother Shalak, and I'm here today with a giant of a brother who's very humble, but he's a giant of a brother. We have a treat for you today, brothers and sisters. I am so honored to be commemorating the 145th anniversary. Let me say it again, 145 years anniversary of the Zion Church of the Evangelical Association, dedicated specifically to orphans and widows. This church was founded in November 12th, Philadelphia County, Pennsylvania, by my great grandfather, the bishop of the AME Zion Church, Bishop John Jameson Moore. So I am honored and blessed and very fortunate and thankful to have this information to be able to share with you today. The Zion Church of the Evangelical Association got its humble beginnings there in Philadelphia County, Pennsylvania, under the leadership of a Moor, of a man who was traveling, a wise man that was traveling, who was in the East, but he was traveling to the East as well. He had divine knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that he took from his humble beginnings, where his mother was enslaved. Despite being a free woman, she was enslaved. And from her humble beginning, she escaped slavery with her son in her arms. And that son grew up to be a man that we know across the nation, across the AME Zion denomination, with over 1 million members today, Bishop John Jameson Moore. I'm so thankful to share with you our theme for this commemoration, this anniversary commemoration, given to us by the senior pastor at the AME Zion Church of San Francisco, the church that Bishop Moore founded in 1852 in San Francisco, Colorado. Thank you, Reverend Cheeks, for the title and the theme, Lest We Forget, Nation Building, Service, and a Fight for Freedom. Let me say it again. Lest we forget, nation building, service, and fight for freedom. We have an amazing brother here who's with us today, Brother Norvin H. Bay, Isra-El. I've been talking to people all day. They've been calling me on the phone. They say, how did you get that brother on your show? How did you get that brother to come and share this wisdom? And brothers and sisters, this is a very humble brother who wants to come back and share this wisdom. If you have some questions as he shares this long, wide, and deep body of knowledge that he has, put your questions in the Facebook chat, and we'll try to get those answered at the end. Submit your questions if you have some thoughts, some ideas. If there's something that you want him to explain and go a little deeper in, because he has some divine wisdom to share with our family. So let me tell you a little bit about our brother, Norvin H. Bay, Isra-El. He was born in New York City and raised in the Bronx. He's traveled in research to Egypt and Israel, also Morocco and Mexico during his tours as a United States Marine Corps veteran. He has a Bachelor's of Art from the University of Buffalo, and he likes to do media video productions. He does media video productions through the Public Access Channel in Atlanta, Georgia. He also does paralegal work. He is the founder and chair of the USS 13 Universal Shalomic Society. He's also over a youth agency, the Asiatic Association. He's a member of various organizations, including Moore Science Temple of America, the Nation of Islam, the 5% Nation, or the 5 Percenters. He's a Phi Beta Sigma, and also AFAM, Ancient Free Accepted Masons. He's a past Grand Master of the Morocco Star Grand Lodge in Atlanta, and also a Shriner Rabban and past Grand Potentate of the Order of Easter Stars. But he prefers to be referred to as our brother. This giant of a brother is here with us today, And I have our beautiful young ones here that want to share some love. Say peace, Asada, to all those great people that are coming to us from all over the world. The great granddaughter of Bishop John Jameson Moore. So I'm not going to hold back any longer. We got this giant on the line, and we're going to let him get right to work. So, brothers and sisters, family and friends, let's get a virtual round of applause. Let's get a virtual hand clap. Let's get a, come on, brother, do your thing. Can we do that with us? All right, bring up brother. Brother Rabbi is what I like to refer to him as, but he prefers to be referred to as brother Norvin H. Bay Isra-El. Welcome to the show, dear brother.
Thank you, brother. First, I'd like to say peace, shalom. Like to give thanks to the Elohim, the supreme beings of the universe, and all human families of the planet Earth. And I'd like to thank you and your organization, the Zion Church, for having me out. Like I said, I just like to be known as brother. I didn't know who you was talking about. You was naming all them organizations and stuff. That I guess I went through all those different rites of passage over time. But yeah, I'm just glad to be here, and love to do it again and again. And I think the timing is definitely perfect. And as you know, I always say, I'm here to bring you the world's best kept secrets. You know what I'm saying? The mind is the final frontier to take you have never been before on an archaeological tour, the knowledge of self, to bring you great and beautiful health. So again, I'm just here, just glad to be here. And I'm here to talk about nation building, because I know that's the topic. And we definitely need it at this time. One thing I would like to say is that what's going on in this time, we just hit the 400-year mark. First, let me go back to some of the accolades, or like I said, I'm just a brother. I would like to say I'm the actually chairman of the Moorish Temple of Science that was transliterated from Hebrew from the Moorish Zion Temple, which was founded in 1899. In which our brother, our prophet, Noble Jali, was part of as a youth. You can look it up. There's many references. At the end, I'll give you my email. You can email me or however you want to ask questions about it. But one thing I would like to say is that the Moorish Zion Temple, also known as the Moorish Temple of Science, which was changed, or I shouldn't say changed, but it was transliterated from Hebrew. Because Zion does mean science. As you say, you're the Zion Church. I know your grandfather, who you give us great grandfather, who was part of the AME Zion, and we say the more Zion, but in the ancient Arabic or Amharic language, Zion actually means science. So when you say Zionist, you're really saying scientist. So the Bible states, I believe it's in Hosea, my people are destroyed for lack of what? It's not lack of money. We could say it's definitely lack of unity, but it's lack of knowledge, lack of the knowledge of self. You translate that from into what the actual word for knowledge in Latin, which is also our language. We took from them, meaning our Caucasian brothers and sisters. They didn't have a language. We gave them Latin, as well as all the other languages. We gave the Asians, Chinese and Japanese, so on and so forth. But the knowledge in Latin is scientia. That's one thing that we are missing. I always talk about ancient futuristic science. So anyway, so the Moorish Zion Temple or Moorish Temple of Science, as you mentioned, our adept chamber of that is technically the Universal Shalom Society. You could call it like a shrine society, because all of us are, Muslim Shriners as well, without all the secrets and, all that good stuff. But I would like to really talk about nation building. One thing that has just happened for us, which is a good thing, is that which is what we were taught in the Bible prophecy, that we will go through bondage for 400 years. 400 years, which, the Moors, when we ruled Spain from approximately 1,000 years, actually starting in 500 under the Carthage rule, all the way to 1555, that's approximately 1,000 years. We began to follow other people's way of life, and we began to do things we probably shouldn't do, like modern day times, sex, violence, and drugs has never changed. So we went through a penance, a prophecy. Deuteronomy 28, 48 states that we will go into bondage. Now, mind you, in Exodus, it said a ruler would come who knew not Zosa. And I'm going to kind of get into all of that, in a minute. But a ruler came who knew not Zosa and said, we go through 400 years in what we call today Africa or Egypt. That bondage was under a group called a Hyksos, or Yaqub's disgruntled followers, the 30% of them that was dissatisfied. Little different teachings than others. Our background, your background, my background, coming from a organization that is actually a nation called the Nation of Islam, but we know Islam is an acronym. Of course, from my 5% nation, we say I, self, Lord, and Master, and some more say the same, but we say that really represents, I really means Israel, but it's Israel, intelligence, science, law, arts, and mathematics. So 1555, it would take 64 years. We had a giant in the game shows that just passed this week. I think it was Jeopardy. I don't know if it's his show or other game shows that they had probably in the 50s, 60s, 70s. They had the $64,000 question. But they say that our rabbi, our messenger, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, stated that it would take us 64 years to break us down from our ancient descent, which we come from the Elohim. We're not descendants from Adam. We're descendants from Elohim, and the Elohim made Adam in our own image. So he stated that 64 years, which is 1555 to 1619. So 1619, when we were actually brought into the West Indies, and we were broken down from being descendants of the Elohim, descendants of gods and goddesses, kings and queens, so that whole science of breaking us down to slave, Negro, colored, really nobody, no nationality, no language, nothing. Nobody on the planet Earth has ever went through that type of torture, but it was prophecy that we would have to go through that and start again from ground zero. Because black in electronic color code means ground zero, right? Don't we talk about Black Lives Matter? So what does 2019 represent? 1619, when we had some slaves came to the slave blocks in Virginia, probably Wall Street as well. A lot of us are already over here, and there was a certain amount of us that came from Moorish Spain that was caught up in the slave trade by John Hawkins, and before that it was the Catholic Church that was brought here to the wilderness of North America. So 1619 to 2019 makes exactly 400 years. So that was last year. We're in the year 2020, as it's known, 2020 vision. So it's not by accident that this year is ground zero after we went through 400 years. So this is technically ground zero going into year one. So it's very fitting at this time that we began to talk about nation building. As I had mentioned to you that W.E. Du Bois, I think many of us are familiar with him. He was an Alpha Phi Alpha. I believe he's a Prince Hall. As you mentioned, I was a Sigma, 40 years for me next month, December 14th. My father, Mega, mother, AKA, grandparents, Mason, Eastern Stars, all of that kind of thing. At his, I believe, retirement speech from the NCAA, what is it? Colored People, National Association of Colored People, NACC, Colored People. You know what I'm saying? National Association of Colored People. When he retired, he had his lecture was a Negro nation within a nation, and that's what we're here to talk about today. So I do have. So this is what I'm going to talk about as part of our curriculum, which in Hebrew that word is Talmud. Talmud. We hear about Talmud all the time. Talmud actually means Tem Lamud. They just pushed two words together and it became Talmud. Every rabbi, Rabboni, as you mentioned, I'm a Rabban within the Shriners Society, which means actually teacher. It means like master teacher, principal teacher. I'm just your brother. I'm just a regular old teacher trying to share that which I know, the knowledge of self. So a nation within a nation. What is a nation? A nation has what? Has actually 12 departments. You know what I'm saying? But a nation, you also have a nationality. So we have some groups like the Nation of Islam that talks about nation, or the nation of gods and earths, or the Asiatic nation of the Moors. And then you have the Moors talk about nationality. What is our nationality? Us being Moorish American. So it says as prophecy in the Bible that after 400 years, we be made a great nation. So as mentioned, this will be fitting for us. And I would like to jump right on in. I could go over my past and my family lineage. That might take too long, as you already gave me gave me great accolades, and I thank you for all of that. But as you know, I'm just a brother. Our brother Elijah said, highest title you can have is brother. So I want to jump right on in. As we know, we just had a major election, right? Oops. I'm sorry. If you can still hear me, we just had a major election. And the major election was between Biden and Trump. And you know what he's doing right now. He's trying to figure out who his cabinet members are. So when we talk about Israel, being a nation, that's who we are. We're actually the 13th tribe of Shabazz, and there's 12 other tribes that I'm going to go over as of right now. Because I want to, I don't want to waste anyone's time. I like to share the time and pass the time and passing this information to those who have tuned in from TV land, Facebook land, however. So to be a nation, you have to have these different categories or these different education and vocations in order to establish first and foremost a community. So as mentioned, right, when all presidents get in office, the first thing they do is pick their cabinet members. And their cabinet members are made up of what is necessary to run a nation. This is something that we don't really talk about. You rarely hear us talk about economics. As the nation does, our 5% nation does. We know Noble Drew Ali did, and of course, the great magnanimous brother Marcus Garvey in the 1920s did a great work. And we say he was John the Baptist before Noble Drew Ali came in. But Noble Drew Ali he returned to the essence, assassinated. However, there's different versions of what happened to him. But his main thing was nationality. So anyway, to establish a nation, you must have these 12 components. So these 12 components in the United States government, which was set up by Mason Shriners, meaning Benjamin Banneker and other brothers that were Moors at that time, in teaching George Washington and Franklin, all of them, they didn't just pop up and just start a government. They keep telling us these fairy tales about this guy named LaFont and Ellicott and how they designed DC. We know that. We know Benjamin Banneker and some other brothers designed that because our ancient ancestry goes back. We don't have no birth record. We go back to building pyramids and temples. Matter of fact, that's what the word Moor means in hieroglyphs. It means Moor. Moor means pyramid. Like you have a mortuary, Moor, right, is a place we say for the physical dead, but that's not correct. It's for the mentally dead. We have a morgue, which is the bottom or underneath a hospital, which is called morgue. But both of those are really talking. They say the pyramid is a tomb, but it's not it's a tomb for the mentally dead, not the physically dead. Many of us were lost, but thou found, but we're not physically dead, only mentally dead. And we are waking up from PTSD. I'm also a veteran, as mentioned. Yes, there was Veterans Day, from post-traumatic slavery disorder. So the 12, for most of us that may be familiar, not familiar, first I'm going to go through the 12, the 12 different departments. We call it the 12 jewels, actually, in our history. Knowledge, wisdom, understanding. You hear rappers talk about all the time. Freedom, equality, and justice. Yes, I said freedom, equality, and justice. For those that say freedom, justice, and equality, it was corrected by Elijah. Freedom, equality, and justice, food, clothing, and shelter, love, peace, and happiness. So that's equivalent to the 12 departments. You have a department of health. You have a department of energy. You have a department of energy and communication. You have a department of labor. You have a department of transportation, department of commerce, justice, agriculture, department of state, department of housing, education, and department of interior, which means real estate. And of course, last but not least, a department of defense also can be doubled as what they look at today as Homeland Securities or just Department of Defense. The father and mother of all of them is the Veterans Department. Veteran means father, which was yesterday, and T in Amharic language and hieroglyphs, a goddess's name like Mayet or Aset. T means feminine, so T stands for treasury, because we give all of our sisters, we work hard, and we give her the money. She's our bank. She knows what to do with it. A lot of times, we work hard, we get our money, and we already know. We plant the seed in her. She cultivates the seed like the earth, and then she gives birth to the children. So she has a magnanimous job to do, just as we do. Father and mother come together. Veterans Department, Treasury Department gives birth to the other 12 I just mentioned. So it's not by accident that our brother Yaqub. Now let me say this also. You know, Esau is Jesus's name. Jesus in Aramaic or in Arabic and Amharic is Esau. And he had a brother named what? James. James, translated from Hebrew to English, is Yaqub. So Yaqub in the Old Testament did what? He stole the birthright from Esau. You know, Esau did not have red hair. That his red really is Adam, meaning descendant from the teachings of Adam, and it actually means he had a long heritage, not long hair, but long heritage. You know, as I didn't go over this, but I teach a class in Hebrew. I can teach a class in Arabic, Amharic, Chinese or Japanese, Kanji or Hanji, which is the same word. Not necessarily how to have a conversation, but how to decipher and decode. You know, so that's one thing that we have to begin to do, decode the Bible. That's why it's a compass and square on the Bible. So these are the names of the 12 tribes. There's 12 tribes in the Bible, and the Bible is about 12 tribes that are basically 12 families, and each family had a different vocation. They're looking for what? The promised land. So this promised land that they're looking for is a land of milk and honey. As you notice in the Bible, Israel moves around a lot. You have the house of Israel, which is really us under the name of Shabazz in America as the 13th tribe. The center tribe, a clock, has a center, which is the 13th tribe, which is the 13th month. The Bible clearly states that you know your tribe by the day that you were born. The word is ladet in Hebrew. As the brother knows, you have to learn the ancient Asiatic languages. Start with Hebrew. If you're in a fraternity sorority, you should know the Greek. And if you want to know Asiatic language, especially in Africa and the Middle East, you want to learn Arabic. Ancient languages, which is, like I said, I do a rites of passage class. You know, I do and I do the class that I'm doing today on the 12 tribes. You know what I'm saying? And then I do what was called the history of the Bible class. You know, so I'm not going to be able to get to all of that. My main focus today is really about the 12. So you have these 12 different families. And as mentioned, we're going to do it based on the months. You know, it clearly states the word Ladet is an Amharic word, which means birthday. It says Avin Hashana Ladet. That's in Exodus chapter 12. And it starts talking about the 12 gemstones. Each gemstone represented a different tribe. So each one of these tribes had a specific gemstone, but they also had a specific job to do based on an agricultural system. You know, so the beginning of month starts where? March 21st. And what we were doing? We were shepherds coming out of the winter. Sheep herd, ram the father, sheep the mother, and the lamb are the children. So what we were doing, so we were herding them to make the planet, the earth soft, moving them around from place to place, you know, while they're eating the grass or whatever else they do. But that concept is, as mentioned, is Department of Security or Homeland Securities. So anybody who was born between March 21st, which is the first day of spring, which is the first day of the constellation. I don't like to use the word zodiac and Aries and astrology because people get scary and you get accused of paganism or those other kinds of pagan just really means country. But the Bible also says, Genesis 1:14, these sun, moon, and stars, which was made on the fourth day, the light on the first day was electromagnetism, which is really the word for God. The ancient word for God is El, or Elak, or the electron. And the first word for Mother Earth is Manet, where you get the word magnet or magnetic. Electromagnetism is in everything. We call it Elohim or Elomayet, you know. And so that's the first day. That's the first light, the first energy, called a spectrum. Electromagnetism is in everything. That's what wakes us up. Electro is a pushing force, and magnetism is a receiving force. You get my point? A man's body energy is pushing, like an electrical charge. A woman is what they call centripetal, meaning a pulling in force like magnetic attraction. So that was on the first day of light. On the fourth day, I don't have time to go over every single day, But on the fourth day, it said sun, moon, and stars made on the fourth day was given to us as signs, meaning a guide, and seasons, not to be worshipped, but so we could do navigation and we could do agriculture, so we could survive and eat. So the beginning of months started, it says in the Bible that the lamb's blood would be put on the doorpost in a lintel. Everybody, this is something that's, I believe everybody knows. My brothers and sisters, our European Jews, rabbis probably more so, not the 85% or the common people, changed for whatever reason, they changed it to Rosh Hashanah, which is September. That's not what the Bible says. Why was it changed? The Vatican had Ethiopians also change it according to September. The Bible, which is our ruling guide, we do say in Masonry, or the Shriners, or Eastern Stars, or so on and so forth, the Bible is actually our record that goes back to the pyramid text. And the pyramid text goes back to is also known as the cuneiform tablets. If you want to learn further about that, we do have a YouTube called Supreme 13, and Ethiopian Biblical Origins of Egypt is one of them. Ethiopian Origins of Freemasonry is another. And I know for my Moors, they like Ethiopia means to divide and demarcation line. If I have time, I'll go over all of that. That just really represents a city and a circumference to guard the city. Demarcation line is a borderline. Divide is like you divide a city into a grid, which is also called Kush or kosher. But anyway, getting back to the months, and I want to be able to get through all 12 within my time. I have to make sure I don't go over time with what I'm doing. So the first tribe was called Naphtali. The disciple Esau, known as Jesus, did the same thing. When in the New Testament, he came to retrieve or to live out his birthright that was stolen 1,000 years ago. He was reborn, basically. So therefore, he set up 12 disciples that was later on called apostles. This is not by accident. You ask most of my brothers and sisters, do they know the names of the 12 tribes or the names of the 12 disciples? Now, you figured Israelites do know. I mean, they know their Bible, per se. But the order of the 12 tribes is based on the 12 months and what we were doing in an agricultural system based on the constellations. Did they not say they were looking for a star for our brother Esau, also known as Jesus? So you have these 12 tribes. You have, I'm gonna go by the names, and then I'm gonna go back and go through each one. You have Naphtali, who Peter was over Naphtali. Then you had the tribe of Ephraim. Matthew was over Ephraim, meaning the new Israel. Hebrews 8:8 says the new covenant is the house of Israel. So Esau, Jesus, just came and did the same thing that Jacob stolen thousands of years before, just came back to do, which he was like 4,000 years before Jesus, because we're in 2020 from the birth of Esau or Jesus. So we have Naphtali, we have Peter Cipher, the disciple that was over that tribe. Then we had, which was the month, like I said, the months, March 21st, all 3 spring months start the 21st, just so you can remember. March 21st, April 21st, and May 21st. Those 3 months represent the first 3 tribes, Naphtali, Ephraim, and Thomas. And the 3 in Asher, which Thomas is over Asher. Then you have the next 3 months, which is the summer, which is June, July, and August. And those tribes is Gad, which is then Judah, which is the constellation Leo, the lion. Everybody's familiar with that. Then you have Manessa. And the 3 disciples over Gad would be James. Over Judah would be Thaddeus, Jude. Most disciples have 2 names. I apologize, I didn't say those. Then you have Joseph of Joseph Arimathea. There ain't no Matthias in Acts. It's Joseph Arimathea. Then you have the next 3, and I know my brother will like this one because this is his tribe and disciple, which is Dan, which was over Bartholomew, Nathaniel. Which is the next 3 months. The 3 months for summer would be July 23rd, and then now it's getting hot, so the dates go up. July 23rd, excuse me, the summer begins with, pardon itself, will be June 22nd, which is Gad, July 23rd, which is Judah, and then, of course, August 24th, which is Manessa, run by Joseph Arimatheus. Then the next three, it levels off again. All 4 months are autumn. Adam fell, right? Autumn, fall. See the names? All this has to be deciphered. You have the tribe of Dan that's run by Bartholomew, that represents Department of Justice. I'm gonna go back over that. Bartholomew, Nathaniel, and then you have which is September 23rd. Then you have October 23rd, November 23rd. So you have Dan. Then the next one you have is Zebulon or Zebedee, run by Johannes, known as John. And then the end of the fall season, you have Issachar. Issachar is run by Philip, which is symbol of the horse. Philip means horse respecter or horse trainer, and Issachar's symbol is a horse. And I'm gonna go back all the symbols and then what the department they are and how that represents a community business in our communities to build a nation. And the last three for the winter season is the tribe of Benjamin, run by, we say Nicodemus, to replace James the Less, because there were two James. Well, one James they don't know anything about, other than he was Jesus' brother and so on and so forth. But we're gonna replace that James with Nicodemus, who, because Joseph and Nicodemus was there when Esau was put on the cross, and all the other disciples was ghosts. You know what I mean? So then you have so that's tribe of Benjamin, run by Nicodemus. You have the tribe of Simeon, who is Simon the Zealot or Simon of Cana. And then, of course, last but not least, you have the tribe of Reuben, who is Andrew, the disciple Andrew. Now, going back over it again, now Naphtali, which is the first tribe, which is symbolized by the ram. Naphtali is symbolized by the ram in the Bible. The word is ayil. Ayil means ram. So the ram let loose, right? So the ram let loose is symbolic of Department of Defense. Now the Navy symbol, when we call up the Navy on the phone, it's on, because who rules the seven seas rules the world. The symbol for the symbol for the Navy is the ram. So they're the ultimate of the Department of Defense. So this stuff rolls right over into modern day society. We think, the constellations, this, that, and the other has nothing to do with the 12 tribes. I've been studying this and learning this actually from my mother. As I mentioned, my father and mother were both descendants of the Moorish Zion Temple, also became known as the Moorish Temple of Science. And I learned the science of this about 7 to 13 years old. The Hebrew alphabet I learned, and who the 12 tribes are, and their symbolism, and what they represented for each one. Now, one thing I also want to say is the 12 tribes in Genesis changes order 4 different times. What their name means, what mother birthed them, who their children are, and then at the end, Yaqub goes over what their job assignment is, which what I'm going over now. So Department of Defense in the community, which is Naphtali, run by Peter Cyphus, is our security guards. But what is a security guard? Someone who guards securities. What are securities? Stocks, bonds, and commodities. Your uniform is a suit and tie. If you look at Wall Street, WALL is the same as Wall Street. So I believe I have like 10 more minutes to go over this, brother. I don't know if you're still there live. I suppose you are. And I'm watching my time, because I can talk about this for hours, and I only have about a couple 40 minutes, so have you. So the tribe of Naphtali was our security guards in the community, and whose symbol is a ram, run by Peter. Then you have Ephraim, who is Department of Interior. Interior is land management. That's our real estate office. You have to have a real estate office in your community. So you have to have security under Naphtali and Peter. Then you have Matthew, math. Look at his name, Matthew, mathematics. He was what? The tax collector, the bully. Like, yeah, I'm coming, like Luca Brasi. I'm coming, look, show me the money. You know what I'm saying? That's, real estate mogul. That's what that represented our community, a real estate, mogul. And that's run by Matthew Levi over the tribe of Ephraim. Ephraim, after actually means land, like after the cup. Or fry, like fried chicken is an extra layer of skin on some fish or some chicken, what have you. Then we have the tribe of Asher. The symbol for Asher, the symbol for Ephraim is a bull, a cattle. The symbol for Department of Interior, you can look this up. Go to usgovernment.com, all the stuff I'm telling you, or I'll tell you where to go, and you will see the symbol of a buffalo. Department of Interior is sacred land. And the buffalo kind of symbolizes our brothers and sisters, Native Americans. Moving right along, then we have the tribe of Asher, whose symbol is a tree with a set of twins in front of it. When we think of the Garden of Eden, we think of Adam and Eve, right? Adam, Genesis 5 says male and female, and called their name Adam. M on at the end of a Hebrew word means mass, like E equals MC squared. M means mass. You go to masjid. You know what I'm saying? You go to Catholic mass. Mass means a lot of. Mass is also equation. Density times volume. So mass just means a lot of. So an M on the end of Adam means a lot, means the twins. Adam is a set of twins made in the image of the Elohim. M on the end means God, the supreme being, and his Mother Earth and the other angels as his helpers. You know what I'm saying? So that's Department of Education. Look up government.com. Department of Education symbol is a tree, like the tribe of Asher. And you think of a boy and a girl, which is like we call Barshet. Barshet means your soulmate. So we call it a shudak in Hebrew. When a boy and a girl are young, you begin to matchmake them. They call it a blind date in America. But all other countries, you don't get married because you met in the club. Most of us, the man said, oops, he met you in the club, went to a party, said, oops, and then you were pregnant. You find out 30 days later. Other countries, we're coming out of slavery. So that, it is what it is. So that's our Department of Education. In the community, that would be our charter school, tutorial service, so on and so forth. Our matchmaking organization, when they're of age, 16 and older. Then we have the tribe of, Thomas is the representative of that tribe. Thomas was Tem, like Adam is Adam. Dem means blood in Hebrew, but Dem also means education. As Tem and Amharic means education, Tem means doubting Thomas. You notice the more education you have, the more you doubt. You know what I'm saying? So let me get through all the 12, and then I'll shut it down, and then see if we have any Q&A. So I'm almost halfway there, and I want to get through all of them. So we have the tribe of Gad. The tribe of Gad represents Department of Housing, run by James. James, they call him James the Thunderer, the construction worker. You know what I mean? So James, who is the father of Thaddeus, James represented the tribe of Gad. The symbol for Gad, you can go on the state of Israel and see that all the symbols I'm telling you, you can look it up on Google with light speed, with the point of your finger. So Gad's symbol looks like a pyramid. Sometimes it's a castle because they represent Department of Housing. That's our construction company in our community. You know what I'm saying? So James, and all over Spain, buildings and churches was named in the name of St. James. It's not by accident that he went to Spain. Each one of the disciples went somewhere different. They had a different assignment, different job assignment. Then, of course, we're going to get to Thaddeus Jude, who kind of replaced, they don't say it that way, but, the Judas guy, they say he sold out, whatever, for 30 pieces of silver, whatever. But you had a Thaddeus Jude. Thaddeus Jude was the first international person. He represented our tribe of Judah, which is Department of State, run by Thaddeus Jude. He was the first one. Jesus sent him out internationally, to go to others. He's symbolized by the Department of State, which would be our language, where we learn languages. That'd be our consulate, where you come to get your nationality, to get your job, get whatever it is that you need. You get your nationality, figure out what tribe are you from, And of course, what I mentioned earlier about knowing your tribe based on when you're born, you have the concept of 144. He mentioned 145 years, but the 144 is 12 times 12. Each department, each tribe has their own 12. And I'll kind of, hopefully, if I get time to go over that at the end. No matter which one you go to, if you go into a school, there's security guard. You go into a bank, security guard. You go into a restaurant, security guard. All of them start off with security before you get in any establishment. So anyway, so Judah, that is Jude, represents the tribe of Judah, and he represents our Department of State, which comes from our ambassadors. Matter of fact, the word for lion in Amharic is anbas, like ambassador. And they represent our fashion, our clothing business. Because when they go internationally, we got to have something to sell. So we be able to speak their language and have our fly clothes, our fine women clothing and children clothing, what have you. That's our clothing. Like I mentioned earlier, food, clothing, and shelter, that's how our Department of State has to look good, has to have his uniform on, look sharp, look professional. We're not doing the raggedy stuff. Anyway, so moving right along to the next tribe is the tribe of Manessa, who is run by Joseph Arimatheus. In Acts, they had to pull lots, and they claimed this fairy tale that they chose Matthias. Those of us that know the Bible chose Matthias over Joseph. No, it says, I believe it's in chapter, I think it's John 38. I have to double check on that somewhere. That Joseph was a secret disciple as well as Nicodemus. That's why I included both of them. They try to throw him under the bus. So they represent the Department of Agriculture. Why? Because the Department of Agriculture is a bundle of wheat. The tribe of Joseph is a bundle of wheat. As I mentioned, the tribe of Judah is symbolized, as you see, the lion flag represented the Lion of Judah. And the tribe of Manessa symbol is a bundle of wheat. The tribe of Joseph is a symbol of bundle of wheat. And we know the constellation, which I really haven't been mentioning the constellations, the constellation Virgo, she has a bundle of wheat in her hand and she holds it up, and that's called the Statue of Liberty. Okay. So Dan, moving right along, I have to watch the clock, moving right along, the tribe of Dan is our Department of Justice, run by Bartholomew. That is our legal or our paralegal office or law office in our community. Then you have the tribe of Zebulon, run by Johannes Zebedee. That's our Department of Commerce. The symbol is ship. And just to reiterate, Dan's symbol is the scales, like the constellation, the scales, also known as Libra, because they're Department of Justice. The woman with the blindfold on holds the scales with the sword in the other hand. You know what I'm saying? So the government symbols are identical to the constellations, identical to the Hebrew symbols, which nobody never talks about. It's right there. If you just Google it. It's a little bit different, but it's all, when you read it in Hebrew, you'll get the real teachings. And I said, I got to learn Hebrew. So again, Zebulon is our Department of Commerce, who's symbolized by a boat run by Johannes, the fisherman. That's our Department of Commerce. That's how sales. You need sales to run a boat, right? SAILS, just like you need SALES to run your ship. Air, land, and sea, like UPS. You know what I mean? And that's how sales business office in our community. Commerce ship is like it has products on the ship, and we go from one all over the world to different ports, wherever the case is. So moving right along, the tribe of Issachar, whose disciple is Philip. Issachar's symbol is a horse, and Philip is called a horse respecter. Phil means like Philadelphia, place of brotherly love, or brotherly respect, or brother and sister love, respect, what have you. Phil means respecter of or lover of, and lip, like Lipinzana, means horse. So it's no coincidence that Philip was the one on the chariot that met the Ethiopian going the opposite way. They stopped at the stoplight, and he was like, "Yo, man, we got the new king, Esau, known as Jesus." And he went back to Ethiopia and took the teachings back to Ethiopia. They said he was a eunuch. No, he was a follower of the order of Enoch. You know what a eunuch is, right? They cut your jammy off. I mean, I don't know who's listening, but no, we don't deal with the eunuch stuff. They're always trying to, change the story around. Then and that's the end of that season, the fall season. So now the last three is our scientists, the tribe of Benjamin, who is run by Nicodemus. That's the Department of Labor. Work you like a dog. The symbol for Benjamin is a dog, like Anubis or like the Megas, Q dogs. You know, the symbol, the goat symbol, and I'm sorry, the boat sails. Remember, sails is the constellation Scorpio, which originally Scorpio symbol was a bird. A bird sails, through the air. But the Milky Way pushed the constellation out of the way, and the Aquila bird was replaced by was replaced by the scorpion. Like I said, air, land, and sea. It was a scorpion, it was a cobra, and then it was a bird prior to that. So Benjamin's symbol is a dog on a goat boat. All boats. Remember, I was in the Marine Corps in the Navy. You have symbols in the ancient world anyway. Symbols are on the bow, and on the bow you had a goat. The old Navy symbol was a goat. If you saw Men of Honor movie, he said, I represent the old Navy. Then you have the new Navy. The old Navy is the Marines, who symbolized by a dog on a boat. So you have in ancient Egypt, you'll see a Anubis sitting on a boat. We call it the goat boat. The dog, the Marine Corps, or symbol of the dog, is the trainer for labor, for working like a dog. They're our trainers, Department of Labor. They're the ones that get you a job, because we're going into the winter season, which is no joke. Everybody got to be ready. And for the last two, you have Simeon, who represents, it's called Simeon, the tribe of Simeon symbol is a jar, like a vase or a jar, lightning in a bottle, lightning in a jar. Why? Because they represent Department of Energy and Communication. The constellation Aquarius, they show holding a jar, almost like a boombox. Communication. If you don't have your charger, which is your energy pack, you're not leaving the house, because you don't have no communication without your charger. So they go together. So the Department of Energy, which we need some type of communication format, and of course you have your the tribe of you have Simon. They call him Simon the Zealot. He's your motivational speaker. You know what I'm saying? Energetic person. So that's our Department of Energy, Simeon tribe, Simon the Zealot, disciple, and last but not least is our brother Andrew, who runs the tribe of Reuben. The symbol for Reuben is two fish. We all know in Christianity, the original symbol for Esau or Christianity was a fish. Later on, it became the cross. That's because our constellations take 25,000 years to go through all 12, approximately 2,000 years. So Andrew was the actual disciple. They keep changing the story around. Andrew doing Pasach. Pescata means fish also. They say the Passover lamb, but that's not correct. It's called Pasach, means fish. Pascha, Pisces, or Pasach, Pescata. All that means fish. So Reuben symbols of fish, and Andrew was the one when the people during the Passover or Pasach were looking for extra food. He's the one that told Esau, look, I got this person over here that has two fish and some bread. So those are the 12 tribes, the 12 disciples, the 12 departments, and the 12 businesses that we would use in our community. So that's what we need as a nation. We need a security force, whether we ask the nation to fill in until further notice, but we also need to know about all the other businesses, because we talk about being a securities broker, stocks, bonds, and commodities. We need a real estate office. We need some type of educational charter school or Zoom school. Right now with the whole school situation. You know what I'm saying? So we need security, a real estate office. We need some type of educational charter school or some type of educational component. We need a construction company for housing. We need like I said, some type of consulate to deal with other nations like the Hispanic nation, our Jewish brothers, our Asian brothers, so on and so forth, looking sharp, our clothing department. We have to have some type of farming for that's Judah. For Manessa, we have to have some type of, supermarkets, farms, restaurants, catering, so on and so forth. For that department, Department of Agriculture. We have Dan, who represents Department of Justice. We have to have some type of legal office and some type of tribunal court system. We have Department of Commerce, which is the tribe of Zebulon. That's our business office. For sales, sales and marketing, sales, business, and marketing. We have to have some type of transportation, some type of limo service, van service, air, land, and sea, train travel agency, Uber, Lyft, some type of, we have people that do travel agency, and we, of course, we need Tribe of Benjamin is our labor, a career office. You come there, you need a job. They're in direct linkage. They're the dog. And remember the cat and the dog, the Sphinx, the Lion of Judah, the Tribe of Benjamin, they're working closely together, because he's the Department of State, and you go there to get a job. So they're working close together. Alpha, we call that Alpha and Omega, the Sphinx and the dog. And then we need Department of Energy, which is Simeon, ruled by Simon. That's some type of energy, whether it's air, the new Green Deal, some type of new energy other than dirty coal. That's going to go on for a while, but everything is turning electric cars, electric this, electric that. That's ancient history. They had no idea how the pyramids was built. I didn't get a chance to go through that, but that is our seal on the dollar bill. Only one that has not been changed. And of course, last but not least, we need some type of health clinic. Knowledge of self, we need a Department of Health, a holistic health. So those 12 represents nation building. I know because I got married in the Nation of Islam. We had schools, we had a van service, we had security contracts, we had, a restaurant, a bakery. So when people talk about nation building, me and brother Jabbar, who I again thank for having on his show, our experience was part of nation building. Because a lot of people could talk about nation building. So let's, but that's the experience of it. We know our brother Minister Elijah, with the help of Malcolm back in the day, had $100,000 empire. Look up Rebirth of a Nation, 1981. The nation had farms. The nation had stores, fish market, clean the jail people up, our sisters, the prostitutes, so on and so forth, and turn them into business people. And the minister's doing the same today. But we have to know that we are the Asiatic nation of Israel. And moving forward, and I think my time is up, but that's what we need, the 12 tribes of Israel, which is 12 departments, of economics. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So we have to constantly think on how can we begin to bring unity together, because we have people that do real estate. We have people that do security. We have people that have schools. We have people that do construction. We have people that, that have a clothing business or know different languages. We have somebody that does law, catering, business, can find people jobs, transportation, Department of Energy, so on and so forth. Health clinic, holistic health clinic. We already have all these 12 already, but it's just a matter of us sitting down and begin to communicate with each other and say, hey, man, every community, it starts with knowledge of self. Who are you? Who am I? And we have to find a common denominator, a common flag, a common nationality. We've been Negro, Black, and colored for a long time, but what is our nationality? Of course, we were taught we're Moorish Americans. What does Moorish American mean? Descendants of Morocco, born in America. And why is Morocco important? What does Morocco have to do anything? It's actually called Meta Kush. Miro, Kush, born in America. Morta Kush, born in America. You see, I'm pointing at the flags, the 3 flags. So that's, hopefully, but first and foremost, knowledge of self, it starts with knowledge of self. If you're not sure what you want to do in life, when were you born? That's what you want to find out. And so, like I said, the 3 spring months start the 21st. The summer months is the 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. The 3-4 months begins the 23rd of those months. And the last one, which I apologize, I don't think I said, winter begins the 22nd. It's almost like the temperature is going down. The 22nd, the 21st, and March 20th is the last day of the year of the 13th month. The 13th month is actually 5 days. So I'll cut it for now. I believe I did my 45 minutes. I started at 1:45. It's about 8:30, so that's my 45 minutes, brother. And I guess you have to come back in if there's any Q&A. Let me know, because I'll keep going.
Thank you kindly, brother Norvin H. Bay, Israel. We are so overwhelmed, so full. We're going to have some time for digestion of all of that
Yes,
great
sir.
wisdom. Tell us how people can find you, how people can contact you, and learn more about the information that you shared.
Well, first and foremost, it's better to email me because I already get enough calls, and I don't, if I don't recognize the number, unless you leave a voicemail, that works too. Email me. My email is I is intelligence, N is in nation, N is in now, ER, equality rule, G as in God, energy, 007, yeah, 007, you know who that is, like James Bond, 007, U as in universe, S as in self, S as in savior, 1-3. I know it's a bit much. Energy, INNERG, 007 USS 13 at gmail.com. We have a YouTube page, Supreme 13. Check it out. You know, I hope I didn't go too fast. I meant to say take out a piece of paper, like the brother said. Just figure out where you get in, where you fit in. We are at war right now. So that's why the brother, I could have went over one at a time. But right now, we have a president going out who doesn't want to give up the Confederates. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's a good time for us because now we're blooming into becoming a nation. It's nation time. It's nation time. The mind is the final frontier to take you on a tour where you've never been before. So so with that, I'll say shalom, salam, Islam, and peace to my brothers and sisters of the planet Earth and the Elohim of the universe. Peace.
We want to thank Brother Anthony Juice Gaston Bay for tuning in, Brother Yusuf Bay for tuning in, and the many others that tuned in for this ancient futuristic technology and wisdom that we were blessed to take part in. Again, we're going to really have to take some time to digest this. You can find more information at thezionchurch.org, and we are the family of Bishop John Jameson Moore are overwhelmed and grateful that you are a part of this anniversary commemoration to commemorate this great body of work that we're doing to help orphans and widows. We didn't get an opportunity to get into orphans and widows, but we just wanted to introduce yourself and this week that we are honoring the legacy of Bishop John Jameson Moore, who ordained the Zion Church of the Evangelical Association, particularly for orphans and widows. And we are commemorating this great work. And so we can study this great work and how that we can push it forward. So we thank you again for teaching us about nation building. And we know that we're going to have to come back and do some more studying on this information. So thank you, Brother Norvin H. Bay, Israel. And we look forward to building with you again soon and very soon. Wishing you all peace and blessing. Any final words from you, Brother Norvin?
Yes. I also go by the name of, because when you email me, you're going to see Justice Born. My righteous name, yes, I'm still a 5%er. Justice Born Shabazz Kabbalah. So when you email me, don't be like, well, who's that? It will say Justice Born. So we say, get in where you fit in. Knowledge of self is very paramount right now. We have to come together, unity, to set the example for the rest of the planet Earth. We say civilizing is teaching knowledge and wisdom of the human families of the planet Earth until we have knowledge and wisdom, so we can teach knowledge and wisdom to the human family of the planet Earth. So I'll kind of leave it with that. Like I said, I have other classes in the few. We say the end of our year is March 21st. Actually, sundown March 21st. We're looking to have a documentary that we'll do on everything I just talked about. I have a class called Rites of Passage where I go deeper into the alphabets. Every letter of the alphabet has a scientific meaning, a mathematical meaning, and of course, the history of the Bible is really ancient mythology, all those histories. And as you had mentioned, ancient futuristic. Modern science is catching up to our ancient knowledge. They cannot build a pyramid today. Do not get fooled in thinking that the pyramid on a dollar bill is their seal. That is our nationality seal. That's why they have not changed it, because they know we are waking up and waking up fast. So peace from the Southeast. I love you all. It's our time to teach all the human families of the planet Earth, but it begins with us first, is a must. Peace. Shalom. Alaikum.
Peace and blessings, family. God bless you all. We'll be talking with you soon and very soon. Peace.